6:01. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 9th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the January 9th, 2018 minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of January 15th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from January 15th, 2018 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the notes from the workshop on November 20th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the notes from the workshop on November 20th, 2017 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the notes from the workshop on December 5th, 2017.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the notes from the workshop on December 5th, 2017 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? I have one addition under correspondence from Philip Moriarty. Is there anything else that needs to be added?
No, I would just say that on these minutes, I don't think I gave you guys full copies, but I did, and thank you very much, Steve. Have the workshop notes attached to those minutes for the public, and they will be in the permanent record book back here with those workshop notes, as it were, budget sheets. And with regard to Mr. Moriarty, he did come in and look at those, so.
All right, then moving on to the highway department. Where do we start? Let's start with the network inventory maps. There has been a bill submitted. It was not in tonight's warrants because we have yet to see any physical proof that there was actually, the work was completed. Kurt was instructed to bring something in, the maps specifically, so that we could see them. We haven't seen anything yet, so that bill will no longer, or will sit in the back office and will not be paid until such time as there's compliance with showing us that the work was actually done. The other thing that has just cropped up its little ugly head is, in fact there is a letter here from Wyndham Regional, but I received an email from the state auditor's office asking if I would verify the reason that Bridge 43 has not been dealt with was because we did not have the funds. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been sitting here, other than Irv, but I've been sitting here consecutively for the last 4.5 years, and at no point in time did anybody mention Bridge 43 and any need to do any repair to Bridge 43.
No, as I know, that hasn't been until, what, just,
No, they came up in the bridge report in 2009 and 2010, but Bridge 42 is the priority. And we were gonna do that in 2012 or 2013. Irene hit, then we didn't get the engineering until 2013, and then we didn't do anything. They re-engineered it in 2015. As Kathy says, Bridge 43 went through the gaps. Kurt did some work on the guardrails on that did some attention work because they put sealed the joint or something, but the main beam or beam number 3 or something underneath it was deteriorating, never got the attention. And when the auditors came down to discuss this with him, and I wasn't in on those discussions, but had that discussion with him, they grilled him on that, and he seemed a little unaware that 43 really needed the work. Subsequently, he indicated, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, well, that goes from there.
So basically, what my point is he has never come to the board and made any reference whatsoever that I'm aware of that there's something needed to be done to Bridge 43. Okay.
well, just recently, what was it here?
think it was
Meeting ago, we heard
yeah,
something about
maybe 2
43,
meetings.
that's the first time I
Yeah, he
heard
was
it.
talking about we were talking about doing the engineering so that we could
Yeah,
do it the
right.
next time we were eligible for.
That's the first
a
I've heard
bridge.
anything on 42.
Yeah,
Well, he's evidently now told the state auditor that in fact, we're going to be pursuing the engineering study on 43. And they're asking me to again verify the fact that there is going to be something done, we're moving forward on it, but that the reason we have not done is because we don't have the funds to do it. I'm not certain I'm gonna lie and say that that's the case.
It's never been,
But anyway, this is the,
we've been here
this,
since it started.
this is the note that came down attached to that file, and another copy came from Wyndham Regional. It says, "Dear Kurt, the Wyndham Regional Commission is very pleased to provide a letter of support for the town of Townsend's application for the V-Trans grant funding to fund an engineering study for Bridge 43 in Townsend. We understand that the WRC will be assisting in this application in the spring of 2018 and are ready to provide maps, supporting narrative photos, or any other materials necessary to successfully secure this structure's grant. The WRC enjoys a history of collaboration with its members town and their respective road foremen in ensuring the reliability of our region's transportation system. WRC supports the town of Townsend's future application for this grant funding and will provide any assistance needed. If you have any questions or we can be of further assistance, please don't hesitate to contact. My issue, again, is all this seems to be happening in the background and we are not being included in any of these
What?
discussions.
Like at 43, what come of the bridge inspection papers?
well, two things. We have the ones from 2011, copies of the ones that went to the highway. We got those in 2011, I believe. I never got it, I've looked at them subsequently, but I never did get to see those in real time. We always had a high,
Every 2 or 3 years, you should be getting a copy of.
right, but
bridge
well,
inspection.
okay, let me just finish. Those used to go to the highway commissioner or the liaison, and he'd work it out with Kurt. They'd end up at the garage. So they never really came to the select board. Whoever was the commissioner would deal with Kurt on it. In 2015, I believe it was, the Paperwork Reduction Act from the state eliminated sending either duplicate paper or any paper down. They're all available online now, if you go look for them. So I've never looked for them, I've never been asked to, and the board isn't gonna do them. The last ones that we have, or at least have copies of, I believe the auditors provided us with a copy and I printed them out, but I do have them back here. I have seen ones occasionally through time and in looking through the files, because I have an interest in Simpson Brook coverage on my property and the guardrails there, and they keep citing that those need doing. But Bridge 42 and 43 have always been in the queue. They've always been something that got mentioned, but Bridge 42 was the primary. And we delayed, 3 or 4 years in getting that attended. Now that that is attended, Bridge 43 becomes the priority. Well, it's not attended, but it's under contract with Clark. Bridge 43 will become the next priority out on that road.
Where is 43?
That's the next one up, I guess. I mean, I can get you a map of the
Right
bridges.
there by Tall Tales and Barber Road.
So the question becomes, how do I answer this lady from the state auditor's office?
I don't believe that financing has ever been an issue because it's never been budgeted. We've never put, we
It's
put
never
money
been
aside for 40,
forward.
we put money aside for 42 from 2011 on. And we got a grant for the engineering that we paid for in 2013 from Beck, and then we had them regrade it in 2015 or something. Redo it to the tune of, I don't know, $3,000 or something, upgrade on the engineering promotion, but that was 2015. It's now just signed the contract in 2017. And this is 5 years in the making just for Bridge 42. We never put any money aside for 43. And there's $1 million plus minus surplus in the highway kind of thing. There's money, the money is there. There has been money for special projects there for forever. And it's just never been brought forward that this is something that we need to attend to in real time.
So how would you like me to answer the state auditor's question?
Yeah.
That's my question.
And then bridge reports, we used to get them in paper.
Right.
They'd tell you if it had a dirty deck or anything like that. That part of the problem is not taking care of the stuff if it's salt and sand on them. It gets into the beams and all that stuff, and they're supposed to be cleaned every year. Washed off, and that's supposed to be washed every spring. But if you don't see the
Well,
report,
Again, what would you
I
like me to say?
guess we tell them that money's not the issue.
Well, that's gonna open up.
Well, money
a can
is
of
an issue, because if you don't plan ahead,
Well, right, yeah.
Well, tell
You
them
got
we're
damn
doing
taxes.
one, we need 100% financing.
Is this, she not the one that gives us the
No.
financing?
Well, just send, that's an answer.
it don't work that way.
When do you have to respond?
I should have responded yesterday.
You should have.
Should I say, in fact, it's not been brought forward to our attention?
The select board needs to review it. We're not up to speed.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I'll tell them. It's gonna be interesting. All right. Then the other thing that, on the highway that has come to my attention, and this beyond ticks me off because it's personal, is the fact that when the insurance adjuster was trying to get a hold of me to take a look at my car after the damage that was done by the highway department, they were actually calling the highway department number, leaving messages out there on the answering machine for me to try to schedule an appointment to come look at this car. Okay? Now, nobody ever called this person back. Nobody ever called me and said, in fact, there were messages being left about my car out at the highway department. I have been on this soapbox for 4.5 years. I'm gonna get on the soapbox again. That answering machine needs to be emptied. There needs to be a daily logbook written of people who call and what response is taken to those individual calls, so that things like this do not happen. There was no reason to postpone fixing my car for 4 days because somebody didn't listen to the messages on the answering machine. I am not a happy camper.
That's the same thing that I brought up about 4 meetings ago about culverts. People asking questions about their culvert and replacing them, and they get no response, no answer, no nothing. With multiple messages left on an answering machine.
The select board actually, I can't imagine where I'd find the motion, but the select board actually made a motion to have me get a logbook for the
There is a logbook out.
highway department. There was a logbook on the desk with the intent of somebody to scribble a note whenever there's a message and then provide a follow-up at some point in time. Somebody called on a Tuesday, they got called back on a Wednesday or Thursday, they should have taken care of it on Friday, satisfactorily.
Right.
You know, so that there wouldn't be these lingering things that somebody's been calling for months or can't get a hold of anybody at the highway department, something like that. But there was a motion, I'm sure the select board made. I think
Oh, yeah, I made it.
I think David was here, but yeah.
No, it was after David. That
Was it?
me.
Okay, well, then it was very shortly thereafter, but we had talked about it for a long, long time, and I know that was something that was done. It wasn't thought through, but it was done.
But again, we need to get serious about this because there are messages that are falling through the cracks, some of which
Right.
might be important.
Exactly.
Well, I think that whoever's leaving the message is probably pretty important.
I won't disagree. You know, so the next time Mr. Bostrom is in the room, I think we need to make a point out of mentioning it again, that we expect to see it, perhaps for the first, 4 or 5 meetings after that, we should actually ask to see it. To have him bring it in when he comes to the meeting, so that we can actually make sure that these calls are being logged and that there is a response being done to
I was gonna
this.
say, a lot of things should be taken right care of at the next meeting after this call.
Well, that's it. I think if we kind of look over the calls to make sure that they all have been followed up on, we'll
Right.
get some indication as to what.
No, that's what I say, they should be followed right up,
Yep.
not months later.
Right.
All right. So is there anything else from the highway that, since we don't have anybody here this evening from the department?
Just what's on the agenda.
Wait,
We'll get those,
Yeah,
but
okay.
anything else
Yeah.
other than that? All right, then the highway mileage certificate we did not do last time because Herb wanted to see the maps. This is the most recent one that we have on
It's the one
file.
in-house here, I didn't stop it, that's 2015, and it's the same mileage, it has been the same for the last 3 or 4 years. So, that's the town clerk's map.
That wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Okay, it wasn't on the top, but it was another, you can give that to Irv when he's done doing what he's doing, if you want. These are all our bridge inspection reports from whenever.
So anyway, do we actually have waitlisting posts?
We don't, we have never filled any of that out. Kurt does not post any of the roads, although anybody who applies and sends their $10 or $20 registration in, saying that they want clearance to drive on our, is given the note that they can't use West Hill Road because of Bridge, well, 42 and now 43.
43, yeah.
Right, they're likely to fall through. So they're at least given that heads up. I don't know if the other bridge or the other roads are good, but I assume that they are. But anyway, we've never followed through on that. I was just wanting to talk to Kurt on that, have him say, no, we don't do this. So we can wait till the next meeting
You
on
could
that.
certainly talk to the chair.
Well, no, I mean, it is, I don't make that decision. The board has never dealt with it, so he's got a copy in his box. Generally, we've not responded to the state on that one.
Okay.
We don't post our roads, although it seems to me we used to at one point, but we don't at this point.
I don't do it.
What's that?
I don't post it.
I remember nails in the tree along Simpson Brook Road that, and signs that used to be put up on that. But
So, you all should have gotten in your box a copy of the town clerk's counter money, of the counter money. And then Mr. Treasurer, you have the report?
In there. Sweep account, you have $974,440.61. Your checking account, you have $30,000.
Okay, are there any questions? Moving on to the warrants.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 1 on the payroll in the amount of $10,332.51.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $10,332.51, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
did you second that, Steve?
Yes.
Make a
Did you
motion.
vote? Did you vote?
No. Voted no.
You voted no, okay. Then the motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2. If I voted yes, would it change?
No, I just
Okay.
didn't hear you.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2.
I've got it in there, always no.
The amount of $3,994.90.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $3,994.50, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 3 out of general fund in the amount of $27,610.43.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant, or general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $27,610.43, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
What do we got going on?
Wait a minute, okay. Abstentions? So did I have 2 yeses and 2 nos? Is that what I
2
had?
yeses and 2 noes.
What are we missing?
I don't know. There was no discussion on it.
It's not the one with the first.
No.
No, it's the
This
next
one,
one.
I don't know when the change either.
Well, this old final vote comes in, I think we can still have discussion. Tiebreaker. I think you can have discussion to find out whether the tiebreaker wants to break a tie. One way or the other.
Is there some discussion on the warrant? Something that we don't like?
I don't like the mileage reimbursement.
Okay.
Well, then we decided, I asked that earlier, and I thought we decided that that was from before we had the,
Before we pass the
passed the
policy.
policy.
Well, that's what you decided.
Okay.
So
I
Irv,
mean,
you
is
voted
it-
no, why
did
did
we
you
have it?
vote no?
Is it?
Huh?
No, it was just
Wow.
submitted Thursday.
No,
Friday.
Some of that mileage seems kinda extravagant.
No, what I'm asking was the mileage that was submitted, after the mileage,
reimbursement policy was
reimbursement
passed.
policy had been passed. Do we have a date?
Yeah, that
Going twice.
reimbursement request, if that's the question, the reimbursement request on that sheet would have come in either Friday afternoon or Monday.
So it was after the policy was passed.
Oh, yeah, no, the policy was approved on January 9th. It was publicly posted on the next day, which had been January 10th. The listers saw it on Friday. We did not have this request. There was some issue about that policy. It did not come in on that Friday. I'm gonna say sometime on Monday or, probably Tuesday. I can't remember who was here on Monday or Tuesday. But anyway, it came in last week. And so it was at least a week
So it
after.
came in after the policy.
Well, after the policy was passed. I don't know about the mileage
The date of
registry.
the mileage is
The date is
before the
before.
policy.
But I'm just saying, yes, the submission came in after the policy was passed. It hasn't been lingering here. It came in afterwards. And
Well, I thought that's what we had talked about
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
It was that it was
Right.
handed
No,
in before the,
Right, no, it was submitted after the policy was passed, after everybody was aware of the policy terms, and it is signed by the full lister's office.
No, so it's under two.
Is it signed only by two? Okay, I'm sorry, okay.
So what's your
It is
pleasure?
under
Do you want to amend the motion without
Amend the
those?
motion, should we return the mileage reimbursements to be filled out properly?
Yes.
I think it's the first two.
No.
Yeah, one thing on those sheets, the submission date was left blank, that should be filled in. And detailed description of where they went
It's all in the
should
policy.
be on there.
It's all in the policy. Mileage in the tenths.
Okay, so that's.
That's covered every road from the town hall, all on back there.
So we need to make a motion to amend.
So somebody needs to make a motion to amend, general fund warrant number
You
3
put down 5 miles, but you know damn well you can go to every property.
I move to amend general warrant number 3
Hey,
to the amount of $27,574.68.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that? This is a two-part motion. All those in favor of amending the motion, the general fund motion number 3 to $27,574.68, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $27,574.68, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the highway fund in the amount of $410.61.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
This is UniFirst.
Yeah, did we?
No,
we
we did not.
haven't heard from them?
No, I haven't followed through on that, and they haven't called us yet, so that's my bad.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 4 in the amount of $410.61, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion fails.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the highway fund in the amount of $5,040.35.
Is there a
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we know what the, was that a road sign? Was that, I forget the name of the company.
It's
Atlantic
Atlantic
Road.
Road.
The road sign is a no-through-way, or I don't know if it's one sign or two signs, I don't know.
It was one.
But it's a no-through-way, and it's for Crane Mountain Road. of the whole property. And we discussed that. Somebody went up there this fall after Labor Day, before Columbus or somewhere.
GPS
And got,
their way into the
right,
swamp.
got GPS their way into the swamp at 4 o'clock in the morning. Kurt was asked to order a sign. I believe it came in January or after Christmas or something, but that's what that, so it won't get deployed until spring, I'm sure. But that's what that sign is.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 5 in the amount of $5,040.35, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $4,966.12.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I see tire chains on there again, or cross links, however you want to describe them. I thought our last invoice of $4,600 that we paid last month was a seasoned supply of tire chains. So I guess I have some questions. Those are stacking up with questions about tires and wheels.
Yeah, my understanding was that Kurt had said he goes through about 15 sets. He had purchased 10. And honestly, I have a hard time figuring out how many sets are in that. Just because of the way the invoices are, I don't fully understand them. Like, it seems like too much money to be 5 more sets again through the rest of the season, right?
Let's do it this way. Okay, so I take it we're stuck on tire chains. Is that what we're stuck on?
It's an ironic statement, but yes.
All right. Are we stuck on the links as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything to do with chains.
Okay. So we're going to come up with another number here. 98648. And somebody needs to start making notes as to what we need to ask the highway foreman.
Oh, I think it's just the usual. It's on the back page agenda.
Well, but the back page agenda has become a book.
Yeah, but you need the form in here.
I understand.
Right.
And so $1,100 worth of chain links comes out as well.
Correct.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion to amend equipment warrant number 6 to $3,051.86.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of amending equipment warrant number 6 to $3,051.86 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. All those in favor of approving equipment warrant number 6 in the amount of $3,051.86 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. We need signatures on this warrant. And you will tell her, do I need to make a note of what's coming on?
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay, so we need to sign that warrant.
We do this.
Want me to sign first?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sorry, I thought you'd sign it.
that takes care of the bills. Everybody, you satisfied that we can go back and deal?
According to this map here, that's the same as this is.
Okay, so
Or
this date's asking us to sign off on the mileage certificate. So I'll entertain a motion to certify that the highway mileage for the town of Townsend is 62.857 miles.
So moved.
second.
Is there any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the mileage certificate at 62.857 miles, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, we all need to sign this as well. We'll go that way this time. Okay. Correspondence. We received, or I received, a note from Philip Moriarty, and it in regard to the open meeting law. It says, "Dear Ms. Hagee, please express to the board my appreciation for your prompt action regarding open meeting law issues. This applies not only to the creation of missing minutes, but also to the passing on of the requirements to other town bodies which may also have misinterpreted the requirements around workshops. Sincerely, Philip Moriarty."
Well, thank you for responding to our response to your first letter.
Okay, so, and then the McSoley McCoy audit reports. As Craig pointed out, we do have bound copies now. It's officially back for anybody who would like to take a look at them. They will be available here in the town hall.
Open to the public.
And the warning that we're going to talk about here shortly will in fact include, the auditor's report will include their letter as well as a statement that they're available for public viewing.
Their
here at the town
letter, their
hall.
letter references this document.
Okay, so I'm getting way too many pieces of paper here and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them all. I can't even reach out to them. He said you might wanna see those are the bridge inspections. Alright, moving on then. NEMRC contracts, they're in this mess somewhere.
This should be in that folder.
Okay.
One of those folders there.
Did we find out an answer to?
I did not, and part of the reason for that is that we do have some time on it, but I haven't had a chance to call Ernie on that.
Okay.
But in the short term, meantime, this computer went half dead this morning. We had to reboot it up, and there were issues with Joe's, had to be rebooted. I don't know if you worked that out with the listers. But there are systemic problems in the systems that we have. And I know that we're waiting on a proposal from someone. I'm not sure, but we are waiting on a serious proposal for revamping. And I don't know, I'm not making a decision for you. I've been negligent in calling Ernie to get the dates on those contracts, but I don't know where you want to go with the contracts. But I do think you want to take a look at our hardware and software systems before you make long-term commitments. I know we're going to continue to have NEMRC, but in terms of how it's going to intermesh in all three offices, you may want to just wait and see what's going to happen first. What we're replacing, how we're replacing it, who's going to service it,
Well, that's
what's
not,
going to be involved.
that's not gonna change the base software though, unless we decide to change the entire system.
No, I would assume not. But anyway, there's been a lot of influx with computers and with all of this, and they're not, well, NEMRC isn't responsible, I gather, for what's going on with the issues that we've got, although it is infecting, whatever's happening in that office is affecting his and this one back here. So,
Yeah, when I booted mine up, Lister's lost theirs.
so when you booted your laptop up, the listers lost their computer. She was on a half screen.
Yeah.
And we essentially had to pull the plug on it because it was frozen.
Well, I had to do that.
Yeah.
All right, well, can we find out what the contract dates are then
Sure.
from NEMRC?
Yep.
And you just need to keep us informed as to what's going on with the hardware in the building. Because this is a multi-pronged issue. I mean, you've got software issues, you've got hardware issues, you've got bandwidth issues, you've got numerous issues.
All communications, all hardware, software, computerized electronics.
All right. So that will need to be on the agenda for the next meeting so that we can go ahead and deal with that. And you handed me a piece of paper, correspondence from earlier. Was that in fact ever changed, that reduced rate that we were supposed to be getting from NEMRC for
Oh,
service?
no, I think that was a one-off, one only for the year or something. I don't know where that came from, I wasn't here at that.
It talks about annual.
Yeah, it
And a
does.
certain amount.
I know,
annual.
I know. And I was looking through, I was looking for something else and I ran across some old 10-year-old documents from NEMRC, which I hadn't seen or certainly didn't remember. And showed it to Kathy. But we can see if there's any validity to any of that.
Probably not, because this would supersede it.
Yeah, this was superseded.
All right, then, let's get those answers then. So moving on to new business, select board report approval, I did hand you all a draft copy of a report. Is there any discussion, what would you like to do with it? We have to make decisions on town report tonight.
Yep. I think it well, summarizes.
You
what
had a
they've
problem
done.
with the lack of tire chains.
Well, there's no tire chains on it.
Yeah, I mean, I would
We'll
have
let
to
that
add
go, I
that in if
think.
somebody would like to add the tire chains in.
It looked good to me.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Then, we'll make sure if you, I don't think it needs to be signed. That just makes it more difficult for them because they have to PDF it.
Right.
This way they can do it electronically if it's not signed. So I'll just send you a clean copy, tomorrow.
Okay.
And, you can just get that on out to the committee.
As I say, I don't think you need a motion, you wanna ask for consent? Just so it's on camera on the record.
Well, I think we just did.
Okay.
All those who are supporting the insertion of the draft select board report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, there's your consensus.
No, yeah.
Cover our open meeting laws?
I don't know, I have no idea.
Couldn't even find the typo. That was
Yeah,
weird.
there is one, because I've
Oh,
already
is there?
corrected it. Yeah. That's why I said clean copy. Okay, so now the budget approval, what did you?
Okay, let me, because you have some stuff, I emailed Will some stuff, and we're gonna give you all new documents here, and we can walk through it.
I was gonna get all the documents, just for needs more bloody paper.
Yeah, you need more paper, I'll take some of it away from you.
Please.
So it doesn't get too far out of order. You've already seen all this, and I just corrected the numbers that were broken. Thank you. And I'll get rid of the warrants, and just need the mileage.
Keep my book.
I'll leave your book, you're gonna want your book.
That was your notes. You have bills, letter, regional, that's all, just,
Yeah, okay, you're good.
we're good here.
Yeah. So anyway, the first page is a little hard to read, but it is a summary, and it's just general fund expenses, revenues, appropriations, the long term, but that's what those two add up to. Take the expenses, subtract the revenues, and then you take the surplus, and we do have a surplus from last year off of that. The general fund to be raised in taxes is 411, that's what's appearing in the warning unless we change that. And then you got the same for the highway, essentially, and the same thing for the equipment. This is what you guys decided on in your budget workshops. And then at the very bottom is highway fund and equipment fund, HF and EF. Again, appropriations are the wrong word, but that's what you're asking the voters to approve, $555 and $90. But because of surpluses, you only need to raise 401, so about 150 less. That is just kind of a summary sheet to what you're already familiar with, which is the next three stapled together documents, your general fund, highway fund, and town equipment fund. The numbers on here are as you as you decided to do them. We only have one more number to plug in, and that's a budget for the general fund to be received in taxes, which we'll do when we sign that.
Before you go too much further.
Yep.
Did you apply revenue?
Two.
There's 1115 to the highway. Okay,
Yes.
that's 112. Okay, minus I think that the 112 is the 526 minus the taxes.
I got to go there. It's a number that comes off the, let me see what I can do here. The 112 is the total of the state aid to highways, which is about the fourth line down at 109, and the 3,000 for plowing other towns.
Okay, so because technically they're really.
Well, these are projected revenues. They're not,
I
I
understand.
understand that as well.
But you are taking them off.
I'm taking them off. What you're gonna ask the voter to approve under the highway fund expenses is the expenses, the 437. You're also anticipating 112 in revenues, which means you really only need to raise, for spending, 325, but you're gonna ask for 437, of which you're gonna raise in taxes 284, because the revenues, are only projected.
Okay, well, I hadn't seen it broken down
I know.
with the revenues in there.
This sent me for a look to do a summary here for the town report. That said, that agrees with the budget pages, and then you have a breakdown after those three little packages. You have general fund expenses, followed by general fund revenues, or prior to that, highway fund and then equipment. That's basically a summary, again, a little longer summary for the town report. And it also is broken out into 4 columns, 3 type. And some of it's a little bit condensed, but that basically agrees with the comparative budgets that you put together. And that's about as far as you need to go. After that, there's a reserve fund sheet and some other comparatives, which are kind of interesting. We may get into them later. Property tax sheet and so on and so forth, but library, whatever. Other things that I've given to the town report committee, or will be.
Are you going to give them the sheet on the comparisons on the tax rate?
Maybe. I mean, that's, I don't know what they have room for. They haven't asked for it. Well, saying unlike prior years, I mean, for 10 years now, the town, well, actually, there are 2 years that it wasn't. Well, no, last year it was. Town reports generally were done in this room, and I got to generally see what was being supplied to the reports committee. I don't think they've received very much by way of documentation yet, but I don't know what they've received. I also don't know, because I haven't worked that closely with them, but also because they haven't met here. I don't know quite what they're looking for. I don't know how expansive or how,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
well, they're looking for 50 pages.
How detailed, right.
How detailed? I mean, do you really want, I mean, some of the stuff that we can report on and have reported on historically and fill up the book, and there's a lot of labor in retyping the book. So, and I know those budgets need to go in there, but some of these things, I just haven't had very many requests, and it's not entirely my job, but it's getting down to the wire for these things. This is all weekend typing, and a lot of last week too, going over with Kathy, a lot of the stuff. So anyway, I think we're in pretty good shape for that. The back page, or very near the back, second to back page, somewhere in here you also have a copy of that font, a copy of the actual warning, which is
Yes.
just a draft copy.
Yep.
That should have those numbers in it. If you simply look at whatever it is, Article 8 and 9, or, I gotta find a copy. But you know what I mean, to see if the town will vote to approve
It's Article 8.
Article 8, and then for the highway, I think it's Article 9,
Yep.
highway and equipment gets combined.
Yep.
So we have one copy in full. For fun. So we'll be getting to that.
All right, so we need to take this in 2 pieces. Are there any questions on the budget and what's happened with the budget?
I had one question from the stuff that Craig had sent. Records maintenance, there hasn't historically been anything budgeted. In 2017, we spent $3,000. And that town clerk,
That's,
was that a one-time?
It's a it's a proportion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
it is actually, it's charged with the recording fees.
Oh,
So there is $1 for every page that's recorded that is essentially kept aside.
Oh, so it's offset.
And put to that fund.
Oh.
And if you look at the fund where he was listing, where the devil was that? Reserves,
Yep.
you'll see that there is records maintenance reserve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the bottom, there's currently $22,713 in there.
Okay,
From the
okay,
bottom.
okay,
Okay, so yes, it's a function of the front office.
okay. Yeah, that was just the one thing,
Anything else?
no, the only other one was the outside audit last year, but it was because it was last year.
Anyone else got any questions or any comments or concerns? Because what you're looking at, these stapled together sheets is what will be showing in the town report.
There is a sheet toward the back, which is this little short one, which shows the actual in 2016, the voted in, the actual in 2017, the voted in 18, and the proposed in 19. And I think you'll see that we're not going up. A little bit on equipment maybe, actually, yeah, a little bit on equipment, but you gotta remember there's
So $50,000
built into that already.
Right.
Right, for a savings account toward the grader, so. When it all bottoms out, and I don't know where it's gonna bottom out to, and it comes to property taxes, the municipal and highway side, unless something really strange happens, it's gonna be the same or maybe a little less, because actually your spending is down a little bit this year, despite some of the things that.
Yeah, but we
plug
still.
in. There are special articles.
We don't have law enforcement in there.
No,
this year,
I,
which
you
we
don't,
did
well,
last
you
year.
don't have pickup truck in there, there are some, there are some special articles that they skew that, but generally in the proposed budget, you have added some things, there's one or two you've taken out, but you have added some things on par, you're on par with years past. And we've kept our, and you can do a 10-year, look at the 10-year comparison of the property taxes. We've been hovering about the same for really about 50 years. In the last 10 years, it hasn't gone up or down more than like 10 or 15 cents in real dollars. So the budget isn't that bad this year. The finances are in pretty good shape, and some of the special articles are going to be debated.
Well, I think
On the floor.
one of the things that has now come out as well is the school numbers are out, and it appears that the tax increase is going to be 23 cents per hundred for the schools for education next year. That's $460 on a $200,000 house increase was.
It's an increase, I believe, of 16 or 17%, maybe 18%, something like
16.05.
16.05.
So 23 cents is a big bite when it comes to the taxes and what's going to be on the bills.
We've been trying to hold
So you
the,
vote no?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying that you need to be aware as we have this discussion, because the school, Leland Gray will vote shortly, 2 weeks, week and a half. And then they'll vote the elementary school at town meeting, and we're gonna be throwing out things like $50,000 for a loader, or excuse me, for a grader, and another little pickup truck, and we're gonna be throwing out law enforcement, and we don't know where that's going to go. So everybody needs to remember the big picture, because there will be a tax bill in July that's going to be dropped. So are there any questions on the budget piece? Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to approve the FY 18-19, it's actually FY 19 budget for the town general fund and highway department.
And equipment.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's done as one.
Oh,
So we're spending for the roads and spending for the municipalities, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, further discussion on the budget? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the budget as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So, the next thing we need to do is approve the warning. And while I would dearly love to have another article in here, I don't dare.
you just have one copy there?
You have, no, I've actually got three.
Okay, let me have it.
I have one in my packet and I've got.
No,
two
that's
on the
fine. Just
clipboard.
keep a really clean one for signing, but I just,
One on the clipboard, not two.
yeah, there was one from the same. As much of it, that's my full one. No, I'll leave it too. In case you want to change them, in case you need to change them.
So do you want to go down this piece by piece on the warning, just
Yeah,
for the
that's fine.
nature? All right, so Article 1 is to choose a moderator for the ensuing year. Number 2 is to act upon the July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017 independent auditor's report. And they haven't seen the letter.
They have, yeah, actually, we have copies of that, but I can provide, I have extra copies of it, I can provide.
But
copies of that.
there is a letter from the auditor that will be included that also, as I said, will reference the bound copies here for inspection for anybody who wants to see them. Article 3, to see what salaries the town will vote to pay its various officials for the ensuing year. And that's basically all exactly the same. To elect all town officials for the ensuing year, the town clerk, the town treasurer, tax collector, the select board. We have one 3-year term. We have one year remaining on a 3-year term, and we have 2 1-year terms.
So I believe that 3-year term would be Rob's, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the 1 year remaining on a 3-year term would be Steve having taken Kit's place.
No,
I'm sorry, Kyle's place, I'm sorry about that. The 2 1-year terms would be Will and Dirk. So,
okay, and then
just, yeah,
we have one lister,
And that would be
3-year term for
Mike.
the listers.
Mike is coming up.
The delinquent tax collector, first constable, second constable, town grand juror, town agent, 1 library trustee, and 1 cemetery commissioner. Article 5, to see if the town will authorize the selectmen to set a tax rate sufficient to cover all monies raised for municipal entities for the period July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019, and to borrow money in anticipation of taxes. Article 6, to see if the town will authorize its property tax collector to receive its real property taxes quarterly, August 31st, 2018, November 30th, 2018, February 27th, 2019, May 31st, 2019. Monthly interest will be charged at a rate of 0.5% or fraction thereof. Interest of 1% or fraction thereof, plus penalties will commence on June 1st, 2016.
Well, actually, that
That's
needs to be
okay.
18, and I thought we changed that 100 times.
Wait a minute.
No, that would be 19.
June,
19.
19.
June, should be July.
No, it's June 1st because of,
That's still the tail end of the year.
yeah, how about that? Should be July 1st. Why was that, June?
No, because May 31st would be the end of the, would be the end of
It's
the
when the
tax.
taxes
Maybe the
are
end
end
of
of the tax
tax,
year, right.
but the end of the year,
Is June 30th.
So June 30th? I may have to go back and look at other, but it is gonna be 2019 regardless.
Right, but on June 1st, you're late for the May payment.
Right.
So then the clock starts
Yeah.
running on interest on June 1st.
But it runs on tax collector interest, it doesn't run on delinquent tax,
Right,
because you're not delinquent until after the end of the fiscal year.
right.
So, yeah, it would be, I'm guessing would commence on July 1st.
yeah.
You have to look.
Well, I'll do that, but I
Well,
guarantee
let's
we
get the
haven't.
right year anyway.
Well, we'll get,
Yeah.
yeah, 2019 is the right year, I've had this out here, we've done this, I don't know, how we got a 16 in there.
So are we supposed to?
Everybody says
Supposed to read
16.
it like this?
Yeah, that works. Turn it upside down. All right. Will the town vote to take advantage of the provisions of Chapter 47 of Title 24 of the Vermont statutes annotated and authorize the select board to employ a town manager, and if so, at what level of compensation to be raised by taxation? That's gonna be an elephant in the room.
A lot of them.
To see if the town will vote to appropriate $537,482 to pay for the running expenses and liabilities of the town, of which $411,928,000 is to be raised in taxes. To see if the town will vote to appropriate $55,090 for the running expenses and liabilities of maintaining the town's roads, of which $401,546,000 to be raised in taxes. $401,546 to be raised in taxes. See if the town will vote to raise funds by taxation for the purchase of a new highway department pickup truck, and if so, how much? Do we have an estimate on what?
Yeah, I had that in there,
cost
but
was?
it's about, the 554 that we bought came in at about $80,000.
Was that just the vehicle?
No,
or was
that's,
that-
the rolling chassis, I think, was 55 plus or minus, and then we had another 30 in
and stuff.
The dump body, the sander,
You mean
the
the
plow.
part that's sat on the hood of my car?
Yeah,
I've got a very nice impression of the ass end of that truck.
I know you do.
All right.
You probably wanna buy it.
Huh? I should probably save it all.
You know what you can do on your car? Now with the rat rod and the price goes up.
There you go.
right.
So will we have some kind of information just available for the cost on that truck from the floor? Somebody's gonna ask, since it's,
Well,
the question is.
again,
how
I
much.
had written in there about 86,000. I don't believe, and again, it depends on if you make the Vermont equipment loan, you can borrow up to 75% of that. or
Well, but he was
something
talking
like
about
that.
getting us the state bid on
Well,
on the
okay,
truck.
right. It's gonna, we can try to get Ken Kurt down. Yeah, you're right, somebody will ask on that, and he'll have to come up with a number.
Should we
Try
try
to
to
get
get on our notes?
It's, yeah.
List of
Back on
questions?
the back page, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was Article 10. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to raise funds by taxation to contract for law enforcement services, and if so, how much? Another elephant in the room. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise $51,050 by taxation for the running expenses and liabilities of the library. And you will note, there's a comparison sheet in there, you will notice the library has been consistently going up much faster than the town has been.
Yeah.
Books cost money.
And to see if the town, this is Article 13, to see if the town will vote to raise $10,000 by taxation to be placed in the capital expenditure fund, fire department reserve toward a future pumper. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to raise $1,750 by taxation for the old cemetery fund. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise $17,106 by taxation for the support of the social services as recommended by the screening committee. And I will just point out, I noticed we've got minutes from that committee, and there was an issue. The people they listed as having made the decision on the committee were not the people that were necessarily appointed by the select board. And so we need to make absolutely certain at town meeting that the voters understand this is a citizens group recommendation more than it is a committee's, because the committee wasn't valid.
Yeah.
All right,
And I'm not sure there was unanimity on the committee on some of these decisions.
yeah, well, I don't think there was either. Article 16, to see if the town will authorize the board of selectmen to acquire by gift or purchase land from municipal forests to promote reforestation, water conservation, and good forestry practices. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to set the first Tuesday in March 2019 as the date for the 2019 Town of Townsend annual meeting, and to transact any other non-binding business properly can come before the meeting. So other than one change on that date, time,
Hold on.
is there anything else that needs to be added, deleted, changed?
One thing that's kind of nitpicky, but could we maybe change selectmen to select board, wherever it appears? Just to make it gender neutral,
I'm not
Or
sure
is
what
that a-
statute says.
or is it illegal?
You can change it to select person.
Oh, no, we don't want person.
I believe statute refers to selectmen.
Selectmen, it's a selectmen's handbook.
Oh, so it's,
I think that's the way statute refers to it.
Why is it offending you?
no, not really, just like something that we should probably do at some point.
Well, it's been like this for 200 years, I'm pretty sure it would suffice for another 20.
So did you change it to July 1st,
I
2019?
changed it to July 1st,
Okay.
but it might need to read after June 30th, as opposed to after July 1st. But whatever.
Yeah,
No,
it says commences on
Commences
July
on-
1st.
Okay, so July 1st is fine, should be fine. And,
So if there's no other corrections while we're getting a clean copy of that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the warning as corrected.
I got one question.
Yeah.
He was talking before about putting the money aside for a grader. It's gonna be a special article, wasn't it?
No.
Or wasn't?
No, it's built in budget.
As of 4 o'clock last Thursday, there were none. Throw out the first
No, that's
page.
the only question I have.
No, there's $50,000 in
You can throw out the first page. How's that? I can give you guys a new stapler if you want. That would be for signing. Oh, actually not.
I don't need that one for signing.
Well, one for signing. That's
I
really-
mean, I need signature page.
Oh, I understand. I'm just saying there are two clean copies here for signing.
Got your coat, you'll get it, you'll get your coat.
I'll put it in the pocket before I get over there.
Yeah.
All right, so is there a motion to approve? I don't remember. Did we make that
I
motion?
think Will made the motion.
Yeah, so moved.
Did we second it? Steve, did you second that?
Second.
Okay. So, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the warning as corrected signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So we'll pass this down. This bill, well, I took a part of yours.
alright, I'll write some more.
Okay, I didn't. I'll forward you guys, select board report tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you've got, on the clipboard, you've got the copy, the signed copy of the warning. Oh, no, how many papers do I have? Way too many.
My stack of papers.
I know, I've
Should be
been,
going to be fewer and fewer.
no, but they're not going in, you just keep giving them.
Well, no, I've got a big stack of them over here.
All right, so then moving on to the liquor licenses. We have a liquor license request from Harmonyville Store,
3 J's.
doing business as 3J's LLC for a second-class liquor license renewal. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the liquor license for 3J's LLC,
That's the first class?
Second
Second
class.
class, I'm sorry, yeah.
signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Rob, sign where it says approve.
On the right. I think it's on the right.
No,
This-
it's on the left.
The last thing on the right.
But,
Tobacco.
Yeah, it is, but
Okay.
we have to get all 5 names on those on. One of them is a title. Okay, so we also have a 2018 tobacco renewal license for 3J's LLC. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
so moved.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the tobacco license renewal for 3J's LLC signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So, at once, the signature of the authorized agent of the corporation, the company, club, or association, is that me?
yes. Do you need a motion?
I'm not sure. There's 3 lines. One, they want final. I'm thinking, well, if it's wrong, we're gonna have to all squeeze it in. Okay. So there's that. Do I have the signature? Okay, so there's the liquor license. signs one, that's interesting. But she just attests that signature, she didn't do tobacco. Okay. Whatever they want to do, it's fine by me. All right, the next thing we have on the agenda is the town meeting lunch. Evidently the fifth and sixth grade class is interested in doing it as a fundraiser this year. So they will be doing 4 donations, I believe it's for donation,
I believe it is for donations. Yes.
a lunch, so that's not something we'll have to worry about this year.
Oh, wow.
Having to cater, have somebody cater that.
We can take it out of the budget.
Like a donation before.
I'll come up with it.
So anyway,
We received an offer that they would be happy to.
Should we put a note in the town report about that so people will remember to bring cash? If it's gonna be for donation?
Because you
Just
can't
bring
have,
cash,
you can't have the
period.
5 and
There may
6th
be-
grade
there may
class
be
have
more
the
than
cost of
one
money
chicken
of chicken
sandwich.
sandwich.
I don't disagree, but I don't know how we can actually put it in the report so that,
I would allow, Ms. George made the offer. I would put her in connection with the town report committee. And if she wants to advertise, that would be fine, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
have the select board do
Yeah,
that
I
on her
agree.
behalf.
That
We
makes
always
sense.
announce it upstairs and we try. We can try to get the word out through meetings here, and we do have a pre-town meeting that maybe you'll schedule here later on. But I can contact Ms. Juris tomorrow, and if you guys approve this,
Yeah.
catering, as it were, and say that the town report has not gone to press yet, and there may have some room, probably do, for a little insert that
Yeah,
the
just a little
fifth and sixth
something.
grade will be providing, yeah,
Yeah,
but I would have her do that.
yeah.
And that way,
makes sense.
that way she can word it the way she wants, and that way she can
It's a separate-
she can commit the way she wants to commit it.
so does somebody want to make a motion to have the 5th and 6th grade class cater the
Does
town
anyone
meeting?
want to know what's on the menu before you?
So moved.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I love peanut butter. and
Craig's got a good point with it.
You can choke down a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It's lasagna and mashed potatoes, yeah, okay, all right, anyway, no, it's.
Okay, so we've got the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor of inviting the 5th and 6th grade class to cater the town meeting lunch, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
I will let her know with appreciation.
Okay, is there any other business that needs to be dealt with tonight? Is there any need for an executive session? All right, then the next regular meeting is February 13th at 6 PM. And there is a pre-town meeting scheduled for February 26th at 6.
It's a tentative, the report committee asked about that, Anita suggested it, I said, sounds fine. However, you have a meeting the following day, and I don't know if you want to have that on Monday or not, but the 26th is a Monday. You would have a meeting on the 27th. You could move your meeting to the 26th after that. But anyway, it's probable, it's usually worthwhile to have a meeting with your moderator, with the gentleman who's running your moderator, and discuss some of these things. There are going to be a couple articles in here that are going to require some moderation. But in any case, I'll let you decide on this. What?
I mean, it's up to you, I don't care. If we don't do it, we're gonna get crucified. If we do it,
Okay.
It's usually been on the last Monday of February for some reason.
Right.
There was also.
And then
request-
representatives from the school come to, right?
Yes, and as Kathy found, they're up first.
Oh, right.
they're at town meeting, they're up first, yes. This will be the last year they'll be up. From here on out, it won't be.
They'll have to have their own
Yeah.
district meeting or their own
Yeah.
side meeting, however that.
Oh, because of Act 46.
So, yeah, I don't know, it's up to you. Do you wanna do a pre-town meeting on the 26th?
Works for me.
I was just dying to have one.
I'm sure you will.
They've been so good the last couple of years,
Yeah.
I just
Do
riveted.
you want to combine it with your select board meeting and handle warrants afterwards, or do you think this is going to run along? I mean, whatever, it's a ways away. You've got another meeting before.
Is Dale West coming? Because if he is, then we're not gonna have time.
Well, not to mention that a lot of times it's easier to also discuss after town meeting, whatever points are brought up. It's easier to actually then know and discuss how you're going to approach them the following week.
Right.
You know, while it's there, it's fresh, it's just happened, you
Right.
have the discussion. Whereas if you wait till the following night to try to remember after a meeting, after you've been through warrants, after you've dealt with Kirk Bostrom and the list of questions that now must be 3 or 4 pages long.
I'm still only on one side.
Oh, very good.
You're right, Small.
You know, so yes, I would suggest leaving it on the Monday.
Moving our regular meeting to the Monday, is that what you're saying?
No,
No, having them separate.
having them separate,
Yeah,
Saturday
yeah,
or
yeah.
Tuesday.
And that's fine, we don't need to schedule that meeting for the 27th at this point. You have the meeting on the 13th to get through, but if you want the town meeting on the 26th, pre-town meeting on the 26th, we'll go ahead and book that.
I think.
And your next regular meeting will be the 27th after.
I
That should
mean,
be fine.
if we get all our yelling done at the next meeting, then we won't have to yell after anything actually moving. Is there any other business? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a move
We reserve.
at
Second.
7:13.
Fine.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.